What up, guys? Give it a minute, see who hops in on this live stream. All right, let's rock and roll. All right, so you set the goals, you built the plan, you start with discipline, and 2 weeks later, you're back to where you started. It's the same old thing, the New Year's resolution cycle. Not because you're weak, not because your brain is running a model. Not because you're weak, but because your brain, your mind is running a model of who you are that predicts failure before you even begin. This lesson is about that model, where it lives, and how to rewire it at the source. This is your brain is responding to your goals. Your mind, actually, you can't change it. Your mind and subsequently your brain is responding to your goals, or it's not. Geez, excuse me, it's late. It's been a long day, very long day, but no excuses. Your brain is not responding to your goals. It is predicting them based on who it thinks you are. This video is the predictive mind. Okay, so every man has a to-do list. Almost no man has a to-be list. That is the entire problem. So the predictive mind, your brain isn't reacting to your life, it's predicting it. And again, I preface because your brain is not your mind and your mind is not your brain. Your mind is the non-physical part of you. Your brain is an electronic switching station. It sends electrical signals through your nervous system and causes you to act. Now, I will give credit to science where it says that, hey, perhaps certain memories and or certain parts or systems are contained in certain parts of the mind, prefrontal cortex, like we're going to talk about here in a minute, the default mode network. Those may be stored as systems within parts of your brain so that it's automatic. So the brain automatically sends electrical pulses through your nervous system to get you to move, but all of your programming is in your memory, and your memory is a part of your mind, and your mind is non-physical. So that's the first premise I go over in all of my work. That's something that really differentiates me from everybody else that I've seen come across, at least, is that you are a multi-dimensional being. You are existing right here and now as you watch this video on multiple planes of existence, one of them being the mental realm. And so your mind is what's calculating, formulating, projecting, imagining, and memorizing. And so what we got to do to change the identity, and what we're talking about now, your mind, it's predicting things before you even take actions. It already knows how you're going to react. So it knows how you're going to react in every situation because you've been in every situation. It knows how you're going to act when you're around women. It knows how you're going to act when you're around money or opportunities or when you have to pitch a sales opportunity, so on and so forth. It already knows. So it's already getting you ready to take certain actions when it knows you have to do something. Like let's say you're going to go out with the boys, or you're just going to go out by yourself downtown or to a social in a social situation for the intent of talking to people. And if in the past you've had shame, you've had humiliation, you've had embarrassment, your mind remembers all of those experiences. And so it's created an identity based around those experiences. So if you have social anxiety or you get nervous or you get whatever it is, that is because of what's happened in the past. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to teach you how to override that old conditioning, how to override the past, and to create a new identity that you can step into, that you can start practicing so that you no longer feel those emotions and that your predictive mind doesn't just replay the past, and so you can create a different tomorrow. And so we've got three parts of the predictive mind. We've got the past model. So like I just said, you've got years of experiences, evidence, and identity installed before the age of 7. That's when let's say 80% of your identity was formed, was before the age of 7. Then from 7 on, about middle school on, that's when you start understanding money, understanding girls, things of that nature, and then you start formulating an identity around that. And then your predictive energy and engine, your brain runs this model 24/7 at an unconscious level. Remember, you have two parts of your mind. You have the conscious and the unconscious or subconscious mind. And 95% of everything you do from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed is a subconscious program. It's the predictive mind. The predictive mind knows what time you're going to wake up. It knows what you're going to do. It knows if you're going to brush your teeth or not. It knows if you're going to jerk off or not. It knows what you're going to eat for breakfast. It knows if you're going to be late or you're going to be on time. It knows everything before you even do it. And then the reality output. Your thoughts, your feelings, your behaviors, and choices are automatically generated. So the brain doesn't wait for permission. It predicts and then delivers based on the model, the old model that has already been programmed. So it reaches for sugar because it learns that, oh, sugar is a reward. It's sweet. It's good. It creates a spike in dopamine. So whenever I'm feeling some type of way, bored, lonely, sad, angry, stressed out, whatever it is, I know I can reach for sugar and feel better instead of going to the gym. It knows that, hey, because you've been conditioned that people are going to take advantage of you, people are out to get you, okay? MLMs are scams, for example. I've heard that about 1,000,000 times. So then you just avoid opportunity. And then you revert back to your old habit. Okay, so part 1, the predictive processing. Your brain doesn't react to reality, it generates it. So modern neuroscience has established something that changes everything. Your brain is not a passive receiver of reality. It is a prediction machine using a model built from your entire history. Remember, every last bit of information that has ever come in through your 5 senses is still stored in your subconscious memory. Think about that. Going all the way back to being in the womb, and some people have regressed even to past lives. So every single bit of information, perhaps even your ancestors, going into your ancestral DNA, is contained in your subconscious mind. Every experience, every emotional charge, every repeated pattern, your brain or mind predicts what comes next and constructs your experience of reality accordingly. This is called predictive processing. And it means that before you consciously decide anything, your mind has already motivated you toward a decision. The decision that matches the model of who you are. That's why willpower, that's why taking more action, it's not going to work. It's not going to produce the results until you change the cause of all your actions, and that is your identity. Studies have shown that brain activity represents a choice you are about to make before you are consciously aware of the choice. Your brain is already running the program. You are experiencing the output. So let's say you're in sales and you're headed to make some sales calls, or you're headed to pick up the phone to make some cold calls. Well, you know, on the way to work or the way to make the sales call, you're on your way to do something. So it's already setting in motion the actions that you're going to take. Unless, of course, like I said, you are consciously changing your identity. And that is what I hope to help you do in all of the videos that I've been making. Okay, this is why you open the fridge and reach for the food that matches the man your brain thinks you are. All the way back to childhood. Not the man you decided last week you wanted to become. Every man wishes to be ripped, rich, and to have a beautiful woman. Every man. But the only men that get that and that truly secure that permanently are the ones whose identity reflects being worthy of that. This is why the gym becomes difficult at 5 a.m. even though you were certain about it the night before. I know I've been there. The model has not changed. The prediction has not changed. The behavior will not change. And again, I was inspired to start making this content because I've been studying the subconscious mind for the past 20 years. I've worked with and am certified Bob Proctor coach, Tony Robbins coach, Robbins Madonis. And I've used and reprogrammed my own mind. I'm a high school dropout. I was a semi-truck mechanic. I thought my life was predicated until I started studying this information and changed my life completely. And then just last year, I hit my own ceiling and saw, oh my gosh, I've got to make another change. And so by making this change in my identity, I was able to drop a 30-year habit of compulsive sexual behavior in an instant. Haven't looked back since. I'm almost 150 days, haven't busted a nut because of this information I'm sharing with you right now. Okay, so there is only one lever that changes the output. Change the model, change the identity, change the prediction, the behavior follows automatically. Remember, and this is tough to get by, especially, if you're a religious type, is that, a lot of people believe that you have free will. Well, how can you prove that your thoughts are your thoughts? Because thoughts just come in and go out. So how can you prove that you actually formulated them, that you created them, that they're yours? When you're driving down the road and you think, oh, before I go to work, I'm going to stop at Starbucks, or I'm going to stop at the gas station, I'm going to get some Red Bull, or I'm going to get a donut, or whatever it is. Or if you go to a birthday party and everybody's having cake and ice cream, and you made a goal last week that, hey, I'm going to get in shape, I'm going to hit, 10%, 9%, 8% body fat, but everybody else is eating the chocolate cake. And so you're like, well, I'm already here. And so how do you know? So how can you really prove that you have free will? How can you really prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that that your thoughts and that your motives are yours, rather than they are programmed patterns in your subconscious mind that are controlling your behavior in certain circumstances? Consider this. Before you even went to the birthday party, your subconscious identity knew you were going to eat that cake. Consider that. But once you change that identity, you make a decision. I'm changing who I am. I'm letting go of the past. I'm going to reframe the past, let go of the past, heal the past. Once you actually make that change, then you're not even attracted to the cake anymore, because the cake is not in harmony with the man that you have decided to be. Life becomes a lot easier when you shift your identity to match the version of who you already Life becomes a lot easier when you shift your identity to match the version of you who already has what you want. So if you want to go from being a thousandaire to being a millionaire, you're going to have to change your identity. Millionaires, hectamillionaires, okay? Someone worth 100 million, someone worth 10 million, someone worth $1 billion. They have certain thought habits, they have certain action habits that you do not have. They're doing things that you're not doing, obviously. So if you want to get those results, you're going to have to do things like they're doing, meaning you're going to have to save and invest your money. You're going to have to stop spending your money on bullshit in order to get to where you want to go. And in order to do that, you're going to have to change your identity. You're going to have to see yourself differently. You're going to have to speak about yourself differently. And then over time of repeating this pattern and brainwashing yourself, so to speak, then you will start taking different actions. Your attractors will change. Okay, part 2, the default mode network. The ego network running your old program when you are not consciously steering. So your ego is just another word for your identity. It's just the I am, the I. I am blank. Okay? I am someone who eats donuts, or I'm someone that doesn't. I'm someone who eats junk food, or I'm someone who doesn't. I'm someone who drinks beer, or someone who doesn't. Okay? I used to be someone who smoked weed. Now I'm someone who doesn't. I have absolutely no desire to smoke weed at all. Whereas before, I identified with it. So anything that I am, think about it. Either you're good at saving your money or you're not. So it's I am. It's your identity. It's your ego. I am healthy. I make healthy decisions, or I don't. Period. So the default mode network, okay, that's a bit redundant. So active, okay, mind wandering, overthinking, defaulting to old habits. Okay, so default, what does that mean? It means just running an unconscious. If you just totally let your unconscious run free, your unconscious wants comfort. It wants what is familiar to it. That means drugs, sex, rock and roll, chocolate milk, chocolate cake, and Coors Light. I don't know. Okay, that's when it's in its default mode. It's running the show. Your old identity, you're just reinforcing the pattern. You can't say, I want to be healthy, and then you're taking actions that are not congruent with being healthy. You're never going to get the result. And soon, you'll just stop setting goals. That's what happens to most people. They just give up on what they want, and they just settle because the ego won, or what I call the little bitch. The little bitch inside of you, that little boy who's still, I love it. Brandon Carter, if you don't know who he is, look him up on YouTube. But he talks about, this is a belief of his that I've adopted, is that cake and treats are only for little kids and women. Period. That's a powerful belief, a belief that will completely change your life. Hey, I don't eat that stuff. It's chocolate cake, birthday cake, donuts, okay, treats of that nature. Okay, they're only for little kids and women. Okay? So when the DMN is active, you're going to self-sabotage and procrastinate. It's again, you're just going to revert back to comfort. Instead of building a business, studying, doing what you need to do to grow, you're going to watch TV, you're going to doom scroll, you're going to Netflix and chill. Okay? Your reality is going to stay the same. This is the network that holds your identity and replays it. So you're just reinforcing. I would say that most people's identity is fully formed by probably about the age 21 to 25. That's when your identity is pretty much held in place. And then, for a lot of men, their identity might make another big shift in a positive direction, when they have a child. When they get married or have a child, then their identity might shift in a big way again. Now, when you take control of your default network and you're conscious of running your life, then your ego wall is at a minimum. Your subconscious opens to new input. A new identity can be installed. The old model loses its grip. Behavior shifts automatically, and reality begins to change. And that's why I created the subconscious identity reprogramming technology. It's the most powerful and effective way for you to get right to the subconscious and to start making these changes and reprogram your subconscious mind. So what quiets the default mode network? Okay, number one is deep meditation. Number two is theta state tracks like my subconscious identity reprogramming. Okay, focus visualization, that's a part of that technology, as well as hypnosis, again, part of the technology that I created. So the default mode network, or the DMN, is a network in the brain that activates when you are not consciously doing anything, or when you're just caught in the rat race. When you are not focused, you're not engaged, you're not deliberately directing your attention, when you are defaulting, or unconscious is a good way of looking at it. Okay, it is also known as the ego network. And this is critical. The DMN is the network that holds the story of who you are, your self-concept, your subconscious identity, your model of yourself, of other people, and the world around you. When it is running, it is reinforcing the old version of you, the one installed through years of emotional experience and repeated behavior. Okay, so what activates the DMN? So mind wandering, overthinking, because usually when someone's overthinking, they're just overthinking things not turning out the way that they want. They're just overthinking about their life as it is right now. And most people don't like the life. There's some part of their life they would really like to change. Let's put it that way. Okay, reverting to old habits when willpower runs low. Okay, every time you fall off a new pattern and slide back to the familiar, that is the DMN reasserting the model. It is not a weakness, it is simply architecture. It is simply software. That's really all it is. Okay, what quiets the DMN? So research has shown that deep meditation quiets the DMN significantly, reducing ego activity, shifting self-concept, creating the conditions under which the identity can be rewritten. This is why meditation has been described as giving the practitioner superpowers. It does not just calm the mind, it weakens the grip of the old model. I'm actually on day 2 of getting back into meditation, and let me tell you, it has been profound, very profound, just the last 2 days. So I would highly recommend that. Okay, then we've got the subconscious identity reprogramming technology. This is the subconscious technology that I created, is engineered specifically to reach and quiet the DMN through theta frequency binaural entrainment. The theta state, which is 4 to 8 hertz, is the precise window where the wall between the conscious and subconscious mind is at its thinnest. It is the only state where a new identity model can be installed directly, not layered over the old one, but written into the architecture that generates your reality. What we want to do is we want to go back over all of your past memories, and we want to pull out all of the positive memories. Memories of when you were confident, of when you were certain of yourself, of when you were charismatic, of when you felt abundant, of when you felt grateful. We want to pull out those memories. We want to create a new identity, and we want to project that identity into the future. We want to focus on stepping into a new identity, moving forward, taking actions that reinforce that new identity moving forward, and then just repeating it over and over and over again instead of repeating the past to create more of the same. You cannot outwork the DMN with discipline. You can only quiet it with the right frequency and then install the new model while the wall is down. I told you, man, it's been a long day, damn. Okay, part 3, the to-do list versus the to-be list. Most men only have one of these. That is why they keep reverting. Okay, think about this. Most men operate from a to-do list. I know I have an infinite to-do list. A set of tasks, goals, and disciplines they believe will get them to the life they want. Wake up at 5 a.m., hit the gym, work on the business, eat clean. These are good behaviors, but behaviors without identity behind them require constant force, discipline, motivation, willpower. All of those are finite. The man who shifts his identity does not need a to-do list the same way. His brain predicts and motivates his behavior automatically because his model of himself and of his reality has changed. He does not fight his brain to go to the gym. His brain expects him to go to the gym because that is who he is. His brain expects him to eat healthy. And his brain expects him, or his mind predicts and already gets ready to not eat the cake, to say to the boys when they're like, oh, let's go grab a beer. Oh, no, I'm busy. I'm building a business. Most people have to-do lists. Most people do not have a to-be list. Do you have a very clear description of who the version of you is that has it all? Because consider this, you're not getting what you want from life. You're getting what you are being. If you're being broke, scarcity-minded, fear-minded, lazy, feeling, if you're being of a low self-image, low self-concept, then your reality is going to reflect that back to you 100% of the time. Remember, your reality is already manifested. So it's just showing you what you've been thinking or who you've been being. So let's look at this. The to-do versus to be. Today, Junior. Okay. To-do list. Go to the gym, eat clean, wake up at 5 a.m., read for 30 minutes, send the emails, work on the business. How many men can relate to that? Versus to-be list. I am the man who trains my body. I am a man who loves, respects, and takes care of his body. How can you be a man that has a beautiful house, that has a Ferrari, and you treat your body like garbage? I am a man who fuels for performance. I am a man who owns his mornings. Or I am responsible. I have a high level of integrity. I get shit done. I am a man who invests in his mind. I am a genius. I love to study. It's not even study to me. It's fun. I'm a man who executes daily. I'm a man who gets shit done. I'm a man who builds his legacy because I'm just identifying with it. It's just who I am. And I'm telling you, I wake up in the morning, I work from home, I come right down, I have my I drink water, drink my morning drink, eat the vitamins, come down here and get to work. It's automatic. And it's not work, it's fun. It's just who I am. Okay, part 4, the identity gap. The only reason you don't have what you want. There is a gap between who you are right now and the version of who already has what you want. Consider this again. Let's go to quantum physics. Let's go to the parallel reality theory. There is a reality right now where you have everything your heart desires, all the money, all the material possessions, the woman, the family, the relationship, the friends, the freedom to travel, everything your heart desires and more. But there's a gap between who you are right now today and that man who has everything that your heart desires. That gap is not a distance measured in time, money, or effort. It is a distance measured in identity. As long as that gap exists, there will be a corresponding gap between you and having the thing you want. The brain or mind is generating reality from the current model. Remember, your current identity is the sum total of all of your memories and experiences up until now. And if you want to 10x or you want to 100x your reality, that means you have to 10 or 100x your identity. Another reason why I'm making these videos, because I'm trying to 10x, I'm trying to 100x my identity and my reality. Okay? The brain is generating reality from the current model, and the current model does not include the result you are after, or you'd already have it. The only reason you don't have what you want is that you are not yet the version of the man who has it. Period. That's it. That's all you have to do. You just have to create an image of you in your mind, literally see an image of you that has everything you want. But first, and this is going to be the next video I make actually, because again, I've been on this journey for 20 years. I've been teaching this information since 2013. I've helped thousands of people. I've talked to thousands of people, and the number one thing that I see that holds people back is most people don't even know what they want. They just know they don't want what they've got. So if you don't have something you want bad enough to change, you're never going to change, because everybody hopes and wishes to be a millionaire. That's why people throw money away on the lottery. Everybody wants that. But it's only the people who are willing to do whatever it takes, they're willing to change who they are, those are the only people that are going to get it. Close the gap in identity and the results will follow, not only automatically, but like magic. Magic will start happening in your life when you understand that everything stems from the identity or the story that you have decided is true about you and your reality. This is not abstract. This is how the mind and the brain works. I wish I would have gone through and edited, taken all the brain out. Okay, when the model updates, when you begin to genuinely identify as the man who has what you want, who thinks the way he thinks, who carries himself the way he carries himself, the predictive engine starts generating a different reality. Different choices emerge naturally and spontaneously. Different opportunities become visible. Different behavior requires no force. Identity shifting is not positive thinking. It is not visualizing what you want. It is becoming the specific version of who would naturally have it. and doing that work at the level of the model, not the level of behavior. When you change the model of who you are, your identity changes automatically. That is the entire point. So let's take a look at this illustration real quick. The gap. And I just mentioned this. Who you are right now, who you want to be. Actually, the better thing is the results you're getting right now, the results that you say that you want. Everybody says they want this stuff. Okay, everybody wants to be rich. Everyone wants a nice house, nice cars, a beautiful woman, beautiful children, beautiful family. Everybody wants that. If you don't want that, something that you've got a major virus running inside of you that is bypassed your biology. Because this is just biology. As a man, we all want a family. We all want to procreate. We all want to replicate our genes so the species keeps going. We all want that. And in order to have that, in this game that we're playing, you have to have money. So every man wants a lot of money. It's natural. So if you don't want that, somewhere you've decided, I don't want that, or you've been programmed by your environment to say you don't want that. But it's just survival. It's like knowing how to use a gun or a bow and arrow to survive, you know? The self-concept system. Identity changes when the system becomes coherent, not when you add one component. Most men approach identity change the way they approach a to-do list. They add motivation. They add habits. They add discipline. They wonder why they revert. The reason is architectural. Identity is not a single switch. It is a system, a layered structure of interconnected components, each one influencing the layers above and below it. Change one component in isolation and the system pushes back toward its original configuration. Make the whole system coherent and identity shifts permanently. This is the Steve Andreas NLP model of self-concept, the most complete map of what identity actually consists of. Understanding this stack is what separates the man who temporarily changes his behavior from the man who becomes someone different. So again, let's take a look at these. So at the deepest level, you have your identity. This is a subconscious identity. This is who you believe you are. Okay? This is a big picture image. Who do you think you are? Either you think, I am good enough, I'm not good enough. I'm worthy, I'm unworthy. I'm handsome, I'm ugly. I'm strong, I'm weak. I'm smart, I'm stupid. We all have a story that we tell ourselves about ourselves that we believe with absolute certainty. That is your identity. And it is created or inferred from repeated experience. Okay, then your inherent worth, conditional or unconditional. Either you believe, hey, I am a child, I am an extension of God. That's what I believe. So I am worthy just by being here. My worth is unconditional. Then your values. What matters to you? What is prioritized? What feels right? You can go through my videos. I did a very long, extensive video on values and beliefs just last week. Then you have your qualities. Okay, these are your internal capacities, self-trust, agency, regulation. Okay, so are you smart? Okay, that's a quality. Okay, are you hardworking? Are you charismatic? Are you confident? Are you certain of yourself? Okay, those are qualities. Okay, now when you ask yourself, okay, am I confident? Okay, or if you just say to yourself, I am confident, if in your mind or in your body you feel that that's not true, then that means that's not a very strong quality in you. So that means you need to work on that, because All successful people are highly confident people in especially their area of focus. So we're all confident in certain things. You just have to find out what it is. Okay, then you have your beliefs. I am, people are, life is. Let's see. Money is the root of all evil. Women are gold diggers. Men are dogs. Those are beliefs. White people are blank. Black people are blank. Rainbow people are blank. Those are beliefs. Okay? Losing weight is hard. I'm not disciplined. Those are beliefs. Discipline is also a quality. Okay, rules and criteria. Those would be if then. If I have $1 billion, then I'll be successful. Man, that's a really tough rule. That's really hard. Rather than, man, I woke up today. I'm successful. I made it another day without dying. That was a successful day. Man, I had a really successful day with my little boy today. Very successful day. Versus, man, a lot of people, man, they have very high standards for what success is. Remember, success is just a feeling. So if you have very hard rules that you have to follow to feel successful, it's going to be very hard for you to win the game. Okay, there are also hidden standards for worth and safety. So I talk about this all the time. They did a study on high achieving men. We're talking billionaires. We're talking CEOs of banks, so on and so forth. The highest achieving men, okay, all had, or the vast majority of them all had daddy issues, meaning their dad was absent or their dad only gave them love when they had accomplished something, okay, or they only got validation, praise, love, affection when they were accomplished something. So that which we do not receive as children, we will seek out as adults. So those are hidden standards. They just want to feel worthy. All kids just want to be told that they're loved, that they're adored, that they're valued, that they're worthy. But when you don't get that as a child, you'll start creating all these rules that you'll start noticing things. Oh, my dad only tells me he loves me, he only hugs me, he only does this when I accomplish something. Especially kids in sports. Okay, resources. Okay, what you can access under pressure determines if change holds. Are you calm under pressure or do you buckle? Those are resources. Okay, states are emotional configurations. Identity determines what's accessible. Okay, so most people live in a range of emotions. Okay, and you can look at Dr. David R. Hawkins' map of consciousness to see these ranges. The very top one would be enlightenment, oneness, unconditional love. The very bottom is shame. You can't go from shame, hating yourself, feeling totally worthless, to enlightenment, to unconditional love. At least not consciously. You might be able to with some psychedelics, but that's a topic for another video. Okay, and most of us are going to range, 2 or 3. Maybe you go from angry to frustrated to annoyed most days. That's your frequency range. Okay, then strategies. How motivation, decisions, and confidence are generated. So remember, motivation, decision is not really a state, but kind of, and confidence is a state and also a quality, but they're generated. So remember, everything you do, you have a pattern to create the emotions that you're in. So you're thinking about something, you're moving your body in a certain way, or you're talking to yourself in a certain way. And your environment, what you put in your body, what you surround yourself, your job that you're in, those create your states of mind. Okay, and then you have your behavior, taking action. Very bottom. So all these things equate to your behavior, which is just evidence. It's just evidence. It's just your behavior, and therefore, and subsequently, your results are just a mirror showing you what your identity is, what your inherent worth is, what are your values, your qualities, your beliefs, your rules and criteria, your resources, and your states that you're consistently in. That's all your results are telling you. By their fruits, you shall know them. Okay? Most men add motivation, add habits, add discipline, and wonder why they revert. They didn't rebuild the system. Identity changes when the system becomes coherent. In order for it to become coherent, you've got to go deep into your mind, into your memories, into your past, into your imagination. You got to pull up all this stuff. You got to ask yourself the questions that I leave you with in these videos. Okay? So, we just went through all of these. Okay, identity, the core, not a label, a felt sense of continuity. Who am I? What kind of man am I? What is true about me across situations? Identity is not chosen, it is inferred from repeated experience. This is the layer that my technology, the subconscious identity reprogramming technology, is engineered to reach and rewire. Link is in the description. Check it out if you made it this far. Okay, number 2, inherent worth. Rarely named, almost never addressed, but foundational. Whether worth is conditional or unconditional determines whether change feels safe or threatening. When worth is conditional, meaning it's tied to performance, approval, or results, responsibility triggers shame, feedback feels like an attack, and growth destabilizes rather than builds. This layer sits beneath beliefs. It must be addressed first or nothing above it holds. So again, you've got to go back to your childhood. Did you feel worthy? Did you feel good enough? Did your parents give you love and affection, adoration, validation without you having to do anything? Just because. Okay, then number 3, values. What matters? What is prioritized? What feels right or wrong? Values organize motivation and meaning, but they do not produce results on their own. A man can value discipline and still be undisciplined if his identity does not include a disciplined man. Values without coherent identity above them produce frustration. Okay, again, your identity is not only the image of who you see you are, but it's evidence. So again, you've got to create that. Who is my ideal man? What does he do? Does he go to the gym or not? Does he work? Does he own his own business or not? What does he do? How does he think? Who does he hang out with? And then you've got to start taking actions to produce the evidence to rewrite your story. You can't rewrite the past. It's already happened. You've got to let go of the past. You can pull up some of those examples, some of those memories like I talked about, to say that, hey, I am capable of being that. I have been that in the past. So I do know how to do it. I do know how to talk to girls. I do know how to work out. I do know how to eat healthy. Unless you don't, then you got to go to seminars and shit like that and learn a new skill. You've got to learn how to be that man. I've seen it so many times. Okay, qualities. The internal capacities that generate outcomes: self-trust, emotional regulation, agency, adaptability. These are the engines beneath values. A man who values success but lacks self-trust will self-sabotage at every threshold. Qualities must be developed and installed, not assumed. So you've got to go in. You might be lying to yourself if you say I'm a hard worker, but really you're not. I know a lot of people who think they're hard workers and that aren't, myself included. That's again why I'm trying to be a harder worker. Okay? Beliefs. What is perceived as true about self, others, the world, change, and possibility. Beliefs act as permission structures. They define what is allowed, what is forbidden, and what is possible. A man whose beliefs do not include the possibility of his own success will not produce it, regardless of his behavior. Beliefs are the gate. They open and close the path to every result. 6, rules and criteria, the most commonly overlooked layer. The if-then conditions that determine when a man feels successful, safe, worthy, or loved. I am only successful if, and you should answer that question. I am only good enough when, again, the quality of your life is determined by the quality of the questions that you ask yourself. These are identity tripwires, invisible thresholds that, when not met, trigger collapse back to the old model, the old identity. Identifying and rewriting these is essential to any lasting identity shift. 7 through 9, resources, states, and strategies. Resources are the internal capacities accessible under pressure. Agency, meaning choice, and choice awareness, being aware of the choices that you make. Okay, regulation. States are the emotional and psychological configurations available to a man. Identity determines which states are accessible, not the reverse. Strategies are the sequences by which motivation, confidence, decisions, and failure responses are generated. These 3 layers operationalize the identity above them. And then finally, behavior, the output layer. Actions, habits, patterns. Behavior is evidence, not cause. This is the crucial distinction that most approaches to change miss entirely. Changing behavior alone does not change your identity. It can, but man, it takes a long ass time. But changing your identity changes your behavior automatically. This is why the subconscious identity reprogramming technology works at the level of identity rather than behavior, because that is where the cause lives. And finally, feedback loops, time, continuity, boundaries, and meaning making. The meta layers that determine whether change holds and compounds over time. Feedback loops govern how experience is interpreted, whether it reinforces the new identity or the old one. Time continuity gives a man a coherent sense of self across past and future. Boundaries define where self ends and others begin. The meaning-making system determines whether experience builds identity or fractures it. Most men add motivation, add habits, add discipline, and wonder why they revert. They didn't rebuild the system. Identity changes when the entire system becomes internally coherent, not when one layer is addressed in isolation. This is why my SIRT technology operates at the top of the stack, at the identity layer itself, in the theta brainwave state, where the system is most writable, rather than at the behavior layer, where most change work incorrectly begins. Okay, part 6. Actions must match identity. Your brain believes behavior, not words. Your mind, your subconscious identity, believes behavior, not words. Once you have identified the man you are becoming, and begun to declare that identity, there is a critical requirement your actions must match. Your mind does not update its model based on what you say. It updates based on what you do. If you declare that you are a disciplined man and then spend 3 hours on your phone, the model does not update toward discipline. It updates toward being on your phone. Every action is evidence. The mind, the subconscious mind, is collecting it constantly and using it to refine its prediction of who you are. If you say one thing and do another, you begin to lose self-trust. Confidence erodes. The new identity fails to install because the evidence does not support it. Your actions are your vote for who you are. This does not mean being perfect. It means direction. The man who catches himself defaulting names it and redirects it. He is updating the model. The man who says the affirmations and then acts against them is reinforcing the old identity. The mind will believe your words at first. It will give you a window. Use that window to build the behavioral evidence that confirms the new identity. The more evidence accumulates, the more automatic the new prediction becomes. This is identity shifting as a discipline, not a one-time event, but a consistent practice of acting as the man you are declaring yourself to be. Schedule your priorities. Do not prioritize your schedule. The man you are becoming acts like the man he is becoming every day. Part 7, SIRT, the gateway to the model, reaching the level where identity actually lives. So if you want to make changes like that, like I said, I reprogrammed a 30+ year detrimental compulsive sexual behavior, habit, identity, like that. Haven't looked back at all. Completely changed my life. I wouldn't be making these videos now if it weren't for changing that. This is part of my identity. Teaching this information, helping other men step into their ideal identity. So what I've done is over 20 years of dedication to this topic, reprogramming the mind. I've created a technology that can help get right to the source of the cause of your behavior, your subconscious identity. Every tool discussed in this lesson, visualization, journaling, meditation, affirmations, operates primarily on the conscious level. They are effective for awareness. They plant seeds, but the model that governs your behavior, your choices, and your reality lives below consciousness, in the subconscious architecture that the default mode network runs on autopilot. What you want to do is we want to get your DNM to automatically run as the man that is already living your dream life. Okay, reaching that level requires a specific brain state, theta, that is 4 to 8 hertz. This is the state the brain moves through in the final minutes before sleep and the first minutes after waking. It is the only state where the wall between the conscious and subconscious mind reaches its minimum, where the model is accessible, writable, and open to new input. SIRT, or subconscious identity reprogramming technology, is engineered specifically for that gateway. Every SIRT track is binaural beat calibrated to guide the brain into and hold it in theta frequency for the duration of the identity installation sequence. Morning activation works in the theta window immediately after waking, before the conscious mind fully engages and the DMN reasserts the old model. Nightly integration works at the threshold of sleep when the gateway is at its widest. Affirmations cannot override a subconscious model. Discipline cannot outlast one. Meditation quiets the DMN, but requires you to then do the installation work separately. SIRT reaches the model directly and installs the new identity at the level where it governs everything above it. The question is not whether your subconscious is running a model that contradicts what you want. It is. Every man has at least one domain where the installed identity is working against the conscious desire. Everyone, if you got a lot of money, your health is out of whack, or your relationships are out of whack. You might have great relationships, but you're broke. Okay? No one's perfect. Everyone has one or more areas of their life they want to take to the next level. And the reason why you're not where you want to be is you have a subconscious identity. You have just a typo in the code. We're going to go in, we're going to rewrite that code. So the question is whether you are willing to go to the level where the model actually lives and rewrite it there. Part 8, the work. Define the man, become the man, watch the reality follow. Every time you identify a new goal, a new level, a new standard, the first question is not what do I need to do? It is who is the version of me who already has this? Name him. Define his 5 pillars, his mindset, his beliefs, his energy, his habits, his feelings. Begin acting as him immediately, even imperfectly. Use SIRT in the theta window to install the model at the level where it governs behavior. Build the behavioral evidence that confirms the new identity. This does not have to be complicated. I identify as an author. I identify as the world's #1 subconscious reprogrammer. The disciplined man identifies as a disciplined man. The shift can be as simple in its declaration and profound in its effect. The brain does not need a committee meeting to update the model. It needs new evidence. Give it new evidence. When the model changes, the prediction changes. When the prediction changes, the motivated behavior changes. When the motivated behavior changes, the reality changes. Not because you forced it, because that is now who you are. Behavior is downstream of identity, always. So again, in the beginning, yeah, you're going to have to go to the gym. You're going to have to go talk to strangers. You're going to have to talk to beautiful women because you have to practice being the new man until that motivated behavior becomes automatic. Again, another video I'm going to make in the future, talking about the 4 steps of to become an expert. You've got being unconsciously incompetent. You got being unconsciously competent or unconsciously competent or no, anyways, you get it. The final one is being unconsciously competent. It becomes unconscious behavior. Sorry, I don't have that right off the top of my head. Okay, so anyways, reflection prompt. So write without editing. Okay, so just don't even think about it. And rewind the video so you can get these questions, but always go with your first answer, the one that you know is the truth. In which area of your life is your brain's or mind's current model most clearly working against what you want? What pattern keeps repeating in your life? in regards to your health, your wealth, your relationships, your spiritual connection, your faith, your peace of mind, okay, so on and so forth. Who is the version of you who already solved that problem? Describe him in terms of all 5 pillars: his mindset, his beliefs, his energy, his habits, his feelings. What is the gap between who you are today and that version of you? What does the gap consist of? Not in tasks, but in identity. What behaviors would that version of you do this week that you are currently not doing? What is one you can start today? And finally, what is the feeling state that man operates from? What 3 things can you do today to begin generating that feeling state before the result arrives? Is he in a state of success? I am successful. I create success. I have past success. Or I'm a failure. I'm abundant or I'm scarce. I'm happy or I'm frustrated or angry. Again, you got to think about it. What is the feeling state that man operates from? So that's it. Again, if you'd like access to this PDF, you can get it in my school community. Just check the link in the description or school.com/01man. You can get access to my subconscious identity reprogramming technology recordings at masculine-identity.com. Check those out. Absolutely profound. You'll also get access to the school community. Check the school community out. It's totally free. Got a lot of really amazing value in there that's totally free. So check it out. The link is in the description. Other than that, I am super exhausted right now. I'm going to go to bed. So we'll see you on the next one. Peace.